Hey everybody, welcome back. This is Graybeard Gaming, and I am happy to see you guys return for yet another episode of Vintage Poor Boy Survival on Elmcreek. So, last time we left off with the questions of what we were going to do, especially for earning money as far as how we can earn a passive income, whether it was solar, windmills, an orchard, all of that stuff. Well, I didn't do anything. I thought at this time of the year, it kind of seemed like a cop out to do apples just for a couple months when, really, if we're going to do it, we should do it in the spring and then turn it up to start harvesting around June or July, just for the realistic aspect of it, and then run it through November, maybe even July through November. So that's kind of where I'm leaning with that. Now, we do have things for this month. We have to cut the grass on the one field that we have planted that we are keeping long term as a grass field. And I know previous episodes I said it was going to be the far one down here. And while that is in theory a great idea, I didn't like it. So what I thought about doing was, instead, I am going to use this one as the long-term field, but I want to change the field itself because it will be grass. I don't see the point of having this drive right here because it's grass. You can't damage the grass field, so we're going to make it so we can into a larger space, and we're going to actually plow this under and start fresh with a new field. And because we got rid of this building over here, I'm actually going to do the same here. I'm going to cut through here and up to here and just run this as one expansion on the field, and that will give us a much larger grass field for this area. Because if it was something else, turning around in this area for another type of field, or even usable farmland, because if it was a crop that you can damage, you have to leave basically a way to get to this gateway and to that gateway. So my thought process was, well, let's just make it grass, and then we can extend the size of the field, take up those paths, and we can actually plant a larger grass field. So that's what we're going to do, and I think that's actually in our best interest. So with that in mind, this is the field that we're going to cut this week or this month, and in doing so, we're also going to probably, I don't think I'm going to cut this. I think I'm just going to plow this under, and we'll use it as a fertilizer type of thing. Now, a couple other things. We have contracts to do, and if we open up the contracts tab, you can see that we have 4 cultivating and 2 plowing contracts. I'm not going to bore you guys too much with any of that. Maybe one of these plowing contracts we'll do on camera. That way you guys can see the new plow in action. But beyond that, I might finish off this one, which we'd started, and we'll go on from there. But contracts, I'm going to have to do contracts in order to earn enough money to go on through the winter. And that is mostly because I'm not going to have that passive income. Yeah, I have the 10,000 liters of wheat, which I can sell in January, which will earn us a fair chunk of money. So one of the reasons that we're in this financial predicament is because of, well, first and foremost, the $200,000 loan that we began with, which purchased our initial couple pieces of equipment and land. And we have actually made a substantial amount of money, but with that money, we have gone and maybe spent a little bit over what our current ability to fund has been. Now, I would have to say the things that we have purchased that were not necessary. Sorry, I always check the sales, but the things that we purchased that probably weren't necessary is probably our harvester. Now, at 42.83, I think this cost $5,000 new at the shop, and I am actually considering returning it because the header was expensive as well. So what I am looking at is returning both, and we'll net probably about $8,000 to $9,000 back from what we spent initially. And I'm not harvesting. I don't plan at least to harvest anything else this year. Now, if we were to go ahead and purchase this, a lot of this is this one here. It's $3,500, and yeah, it's only got a 4,000 liter hopper, but our fields, that's fine. It's when we start accepting contracts is where that becomes a problem. And unfortunately, I just don't think that the gleaner is really a long-term answer for us. Now, the savings, I believe, comes in with the header, which it's slow, and I don't like using this header, but at $1,500, it's a $2,000 savings over the gleaner header, and maybe we can actually save the gleaner header for this harvester, and we would see a net increase of $1,500 in our financials. I'm having a hard time saying that harvester, the gleaner, should be on this farm. And I like it for its ability to earn us income. But for our farm use, I just don't feel like it is the right piece of equipment. But with that being said, by selling that, we could actually go in, take that difference, which would be if we sold both parts and we earned back about $8,000-9,000, and then we replaced it and spent $5,000. Well, we have $4,000 extra to play with, and I know $4,000 is not much, but when you start looking at what you can get for a tractor with $4,000, just for a yard tractor that can run the mower, run the tedder, and run and just run the grass equipment, except for the forage wagon, that $4,000 difference might be better spent on a small tractor that can take care of those types of needs. Now, I don't think that we should go with the Kramer, but I do love this old tractor. I also really like the Kramer KL 714. It's just a fun tractor. The reason I like this one is because it does offer a front hookup, but I don't feel like this tractor is worth $25,000 at that point. But I think we could actually go and purchase something that would suit our needs for a yard tractor. Now, it doesn't have to be anything extravagant. I think we would be fine with something that's in that, just trying to go through these really quick. So something that would be vintage, would have 3-point hitch, could serve as something that would be able to run our spreader and our plow. Yes, there is the Oliver. That is definitely a possibility. But the one I'm actually thinking is about this beat up looking Renault with a cab, because we are coming up on winter. I thought having a cab tractor, and it's kind of an orange pumpkin color, which, you know, I personally love. Now, and it also has the option for a front loader, which I don't love the front loader attachment that it has, but it would be nice to have a front loader. Oh, and we could actually put a lot of different things on here. I did not realize that we could actually have a front hookup on this. That actually makes this really attractive for $5,100. And it's something that I think we are going to wind up purchasing. The issue that we have is we have to free up that money. Now, what other tractors are there that would suit our needs, especially with the ability to have a front loader? And honestly, there is the Massey, but I don't want the Massey. I think I started this series with the intention of not having Massey, and I want to continue that. The Zetor here for $4,000, it only has 29 horse. That's why I kind of like that Renault. Now, another option would be this Renault, and it's from 90. It's a 96. I think it's got a cabin. It can do it could actually do quite a bit for us. I mean, it's not going to be useful for for anything like, but yet again, this has a front loader attacher. So, I mean, this one is also an option, but I think it's a little bit more expensive. I think it's a little bit nicer of a tractor. So I'm thinking we're going to go with the Renault. I'm not going to lease it. I just wanted to see what it was going to cost to lease. Okay, I mean, it's not a bad price, but I think this is the tractor we're going to go with. And yeah, I do like this. And it kind of fits with my desire to be in red. I'm not going to start off with a front loader or any of that. I'm just going to start off with it as a base tractor that can do the basics. And I'm not going to buy it this month. I won't lie. I'm probably going to watch to see if it pops up for sale. I do like the idea of adding another tractor to our property. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and finish plowing or cultivating this field on the contract. And then once we're done with that, I say we go ahead and we cut our grass and get started with the grass. So I don't have to pick the grass up this month. I can actually do all the grass next month because I'm going to have to get a clamp. And I really have not done a whole lot of research on that. There is an asphalt clamp, I believe that's like 2,000, and it's actually pretty decent. I'm gonna stop here because I just don't want to be halfway across the county when I get out of looking at this clamps. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a quick peek. I wanted one with sides because I don't like having it all flowing out the off the sides. But I mean, I just don't think it's affordable. So we're going to look at a clamp, and yes, so there's this one, which I know this isn't our land, but just gives you an idea. It is this long, which I think that's sufficient, and it is also that wide. So yeah, I think that's the one we're going to go with. I know we could do these Polish clamps for 1,500. It's the same width, and its length is okay, but I think for 2,000 the other one's a little bit bigger, a little bit better, and it fits what we want to do. So that's the one we're going to go with. And I'm also glad that I didn't make any purchases last month when we were flush with cash, because I had forgotten the first month, when you switch from the first month over to the second month, you have to pay 2 months of to the bank, because you always pay the current month at the beginning of the month, because in August to September it just kind of was one of those things that I forgot about, and silly me, but because I decided that I wasn't going to buy a way of earning passive income, I kind of lucked out, so to speak, with having that extra money available. So yeah, that's why we have so many contracts. And I know just a second ago I said we might not pick up our cuttings, but we're gonna have to, just so that we can plow and not destroy any of our grass harvest. We don't want to plow it under by accident, so we will pick it all up. We will windrow it and pick it up, and that's fine. And then we'll go ahead, and as soon as I'm done with this, we're going to get all that grass taken care of. We're going to get ourselves that clamp. First and foremost, we'll find a place to drop it down. I haven't completely decided on that location, but I know it's something that we have to have, and I'm trying to find a good flat spot for it. So it might actually go on the back where that track that we were considering plowing under is actually located. I think that would be fine to just go ahead and do something along those lines. The other thing that we are going to have to figure out is how are we going to open the clamp when we are done for that fermentation process. I could get a shovel. I could buy that other tractor and put a front loader on it. And both of those are options. Money is tight, though. It is very tight. And I'm kind of leaning towards getting the shovel just because it's like $100 at most. And that seems prudent to save this money as much as possible. So yeah, I know I can go ahead and sell our harvester and use the money from the sale of the harvester, which I'm probably gonna have to do, and the header. I'm just gonna have to do that, mostly because I'm worried about how can we make it all the way through till we're able to really start making income, because we have 3 years of paying back this loan, and until we can have it paid back, it's always going to be hanging over our heads. We have to always have close to $6,000 saved up every month, and in the winter months that can get very, very hard to do. So I'm trying to think about this and figure out a way to not go insolvent, and just having that extra $8,000 to $9,000 in the bank, that's almost 2 months. And if we're able to utilize our clamp and every 3 months and get 3 cuttings into that clamp, then I would love to say that we will be able to wait until December of every year to sell, but I want to be realistic and say that's probably not going to happen. Or January. We might be able to do it once a year with one cutting. It's probably the October cutting that we would do that with, and hold off and sell. Hold off as long as we could to sell. And I'm going to do my best to avoid selling at the very bottom value, which I think, when we get turned around here and we're going the other direction, I'll take a look and see what that value actually falls to, because I don't think that it would be a good idea to sell, we're not going to have a ton of silage. Actually, our biggest silage sale is going to happen this winter, when we sell what we have over the next couple of months. So we might make 15 to 20,000. I'm going to say 12,000 just to be safe. And when I look at silage, sorry, I'm going to have to get back out of here, just so I can turn back around again. I'm doing a shoddy job on going straight, but thankfully we don't have to do it 100% on these properties that don't belong to us. So silage caps out at $189, and it drops all the way down to $153, whereas like grass and hay and straw are much, much lower, about a third of that on the max. Not even a third, about a quarter for straw at max. And I mean, to even make $1,000 with straw, you would have to really, you need a lot. you know, because 1,000 is only $39. So even to make $1,000, we're talking you need 25 to 30,000 liters. That's a lot of straw, and we don't have very big fields. Now, one of the reasons one of the things I did turn on was under the better contracts. I did make the selection to purchase fields at a discount to those farmers that we have actually done contracts for, and we're getting a discount of 5% per contract. And then I don't want to buy from the same person every time. I think that would be taking advantage of that system. So like right now, Gianna Hartman offers us 15% discount because we've finished this contract. So what we're going to do is we're going to head back to our farm. We're going to hook up our mower, and then we're going to go ahead and get that taken care of. We're going to mow that one small square field so that we can do our plowing, and then we can take care of the... I know I have this field right next to it that I really should do because I'm right here, but I'm not gonna. I know I should, because I feel like it's silly to drive all the way back to our farm. And I say all the way back, it's not that far. Now, because we're not currently broke, I'm not picking up these collectibles. If we were broke and at risk of, say, running out of money come February when we don't have anything to do and make money, there's no contracts or anything like that, then absolutely I would definitely consider that those would be fair game. But for now, they're not. We're going to avoid them, and we'll save them for a rainy day if we need them. So yeah, now you guys are going to be able to see, as soon as we get this all picked up, you guys are going to help me decide on a location. And when I say help me decide, I'm really going to decide, and I'm going to assume you guys agree with me, because farmer knows best. And ultimately, I do want to own all this farmland in behind our own farm. It just makes sense to own it. Now, I remember before I really discovered how to do the sawmill, I cleared out all these trees and all these stumps, and what a mess I made. But I tell you, it was a fun mess to make. So yeah, I'm just kind of gonna swing around here and just make a determination where I think that clamp should go. Now, conventional wisdom probably says, put it somewhere out of the way. And I'm thinking right back here. Now, this land starts to dip down a little bit. That's what I'm most concerned about, is the fact that it's not perfectly level right there. So my other thought was, this over here is actually more level, and maybe this would be more suitable as a location. Plus we get it a little bit closer to those trees. So that, I think, is where it's going. So let's go ahead and we will locate it. So yeah, don't want to spend too much extra. Yeah, we get over there too far, and we're really going to be, anywhere we put it, we're going to be spending some extra cash. So let's just go ahead. We're going to drop it right here. So we're actually going to be spending an additional $500, almost 400 and some change. And there we go. Now we have our clamp. And if we come in, look at it, it's kind of nice because it basically has a driveway leading right up to it. So let's go ahead, get out our mower, then we'll head down to the farm store there, and we'll pick up our, we'll go ahead and pick up all of our other equipment that is necessary to get this taken care of. And it's such a tiny little field, it's not going to net much, and that's why I'm thinking about just doing the grass all the way around, because we're going to mow it down anyways, or we're going to plow it under, I should say. And I mean, I'm only expecting to get maybe 5,000 liters off of this. It's not going to be much. If we were baling, it would be one of those things where it's like, all right, let's just leave it and we'll bail it up next time with the next cutting. But I mean, as you can see right here, it's not even cutting, it's just so yeah, let's go ahead, continue cutting on this, and then we will obviously need to drop down the other. We have our forage wagon that's just full currently of grass, and that'll be a start. And I don't think we need to sit there and put it all compacted and then place it all into a under a blanket this month, because next month we're going to add 2 more fields to it, and I want to be able to sell it all in January when it hits its peak. And because I don't want to leave too much money on the table. I know it's not going to be a huge money difference, but at this juncture we really need every little bit of money we can get. But yeah, this is actually our technically our first harvest, and that's exciting. But yeah, once we're done with doing this, then we're going to go back, we're going to do our we're going to plow down the rest of our edges and resize this field to make it maximized space, and hopefully you guys agree with that idea going forward. I mean, every 3 months we're not going to make a lot of money on this field. As a grass field, it's only going to give us probably 5,000 to 7,000 liters on a monthly base, or every 3 months. So I mean, it's not going to be huge. We're only going to get up to 25,000 liters of silage a year off of this. So I mean, when you start thinking about it that way, that's only $5,000. So it really starts to become a question of, for 5,000, is it worth it? Because if we got if we were to get 10,000 say liters of wheat and sell that in December, January, that would be worth that'd be worth about 7,000 to 8,000. So we're gonna try this for the first year, see how we like it, and if it's not producing how we want, we'll change it up at that time. So, I mean, that's kind of, you know, how I'm approaching this. And I know potatoes, they're not worth a whole lot. Neither are beets. But they yield so many liters that it kind of makes up the difference, especially beets, I've noticed on other playthroughs that I've done. But beet farming is not cheap, neither is potato farming. You can start it off cheap, but if you want it to expand and to grow, you're gonna shell out some serious money. And for the first few years, we don't have serious money to shell out, which is kind of unfortunate for us. But it is what it is. We will have to live with that. 3 years of poverty will hopefully lead us into 30 years of lower middle class. But once we kind of get a year or so under our belt, I'm thinking we will have made enough money doing contracts that we can start looking into what we can purchase. So the fields that I'm going to start with are the ones directly behind our farm, and ideally we purchase those before they're harvested. That way we make money off of them immediately. So we will be watching that type of thing as well, 'cause then they're fully fertilized. They're we didn't, and we could win twice, and we could do the work on that field. So we get paid by that farmer to get that discount, which might be a little underhanded and sneaky, but it's my philosophy is it was their fault for not taking that into consideration. And we'll only be able to get away with it probably once per farmer, and I don't want to get to 50% off. Well, I do, but I don't think that for fair market value any farmer's gonna legitimately say, oh yeah, take my land for half its value. It doesn't quite seem like something that's going to happen, and I do hope that we are able to get a couple fields at a good price. And because we're only going to get one cutting off of these in November, I am going to get all of the grass on the sides as well, because they'll be plowed under in spring. Actually, I think one of them gets plowed under in March. Actually, they both probably get plowed under in March so that we can harvest or plant them right after they're plowed under. We're so close to feeling like we can breathe a little bit, making a little bit of money. I know that we're not there yet, but we are going to get there. We just have to be careful, and we have to be mindful. Like I said, this month we are going to be selling our cleaner, and we are going to be saving that money for later on, because honestly I'm only going to have one field of my own to harvest next year, and then I'm going to have to say I need to reduce the field sizes that I'm taking taking on as fields that I'm harvesting. Alright, now that we're back to the farm, let's go ahead and get this lowered so that we can pick this, put this grass into rows and get it picked up. And then we will get to plowing. Get this field ready to be replanted today. Now, if there's anything that you think I might be overlooking as far as what I should be doing, please let me know. I'm happy to take advice. Never been one not to say I know what's best, because, well, I don't know what's best. I don't think anybody truly knows what's for the best until they've put the time in and walk in those shoes. So is this driving in circles making you guys dizzy? I mean, if it is, just let me know and I'll continue. Alright, we'll do a little back and forth. We'll snake weave it. That'll be fun. So Halloween is coming up next week. Is there anyone doing anything fun, exciting, special, different? I get to go out in the cold and take my kids trick-or-treating, which, it's fun. Are you the house that offers, the parents a cold beverage? Because if you are, you're my kind of house. There's not enough of those houses out there. There definitely needs to be an increase. We are getting closer and closer, you guys. I'd say a little bit, as you can see, it has a little bit of an issue. It actually does better steering when the pickup is down, which I know is a little strange, but it is definitely something that we have to consider. Oh, and one thing I did notice about this forage wagon is it is the slowest unloading forage wagon I think I've ever used in the game. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. It is what it is on that, I guess. But it is a sloth of a wagon to unload. I wish it were faster, but at the same time, you can't have everything, and I think that we have been doing a fair representation of making certain we're not over exceeding the initial desires that we had for this channel. I want to always try and stay true to it. I don't want to go too fast and be a little too carried away on what we're able to do, because that just seems like it would be way too unrealistic. Alright, well, we're going to go ahead and we're going to pick this up. I feel like I'm running a little bit long on this video. I wish it was a little bit quicker. I do need to learn to edit these down, but if I'm editing them, I'll be cutting out a lot of what I'm saying, and I don't want to have to learn too much too quick, because like I said previously, I'm really working to try and figure out how to create content as opposed to all the little add-ons. I want to be able to put content out. Right now I'm trying to do a video a day, so that way we can at least get some videos out there, especially before Farming Simulator 25 is released. I don't know how exciting Farming Simulator 22 videos are going to be once there is an option for people to see rice and the different crops and options that Farming Simulator 25 is going to offer. I'm excited to see it. I don't know if my gaming laptop here will run it. I think it will, but I have not really paid much attention to the specifications on it, so I do not know. And obviously, my channel being new, it's not going to fund an expansion or improvement on the equipment that I do have, which is unfortunate. And actually, I am quite surprised at this little field here. I have barely even scratched the surface of getting into our planted grass, and we are already at 12,000 liters. I was figuring 5,000 to 7,000 at the most, and we are going to, I think, easily double that. I don't think we will triple. I mean, that would be phenomenal, but I just don't see us getting a triple on our harvest of the grass. But I mean, we've already doubled what I thought was our maximum, and looks like I may have left a little bit off to the side there. We'll try and go back and pick the little bits and pieces up that we missed. I just missed another one and a little bit more, I think. Yeah, so I mean, I can leave those. It's not the end of the world, but yeah, I mean, I'm relatively pleased with this amount of grass that we are currently picking up. I did not think we were going to get anywhere near, 10,000, let alone closing in on 20,000 liters. So yeah, that little bit of grass seems to have been a good amount of grass. In fact, pleasantly surprised. So this is going to push us close to 40,000 liters in our clam, which that is fantastic. I think we'll be about 39,000. And so if this field is any indication of to what we can expect, those two fields there, I don't know for sure if they'll bring it in, but they could potentially bring in 50,000 liters, which would give us about $10,000 in earnings, and that would be very, very welcome indeed. Alright, well, I don't think I missed any additional. Let's go ahead and turn it off so we're not driving so slow. But yeah, I mean, 18,000 off of this little tiny bit of grass and weeds. I think that's a job well done. That is definitely a job well done. Very, very happy with that. So, kind of curious as to what you guys watch outside of farming simulator videos. I mean, is there anything out there that you guys enjoy that's maybe not farming simulator oriented? I know I tend to watch more farming simulator YouTube than anything else, but I do also have some others that I enjoy immensely. I do like to watch a lot of like bushcraft and outdoor living type of stuff where people homestead. I know it's very much tied into what it's very much tied into farming simulator. We got a bug. There we go. It was not wanting to drop that last little teeny tiny bit, which is fine. We're gonna pick that up. Just 3 liters, nothing major. And now you can see where I'm having issues with the wagon as a result of the high hitch, which we expected. We knew it was going to be a thing to have to deal with. But yeah, let's go ahead. We are going to unhook. Then we're going to go ahead and find our plow, and look at that. It's conveniently placed right in the space that we wanted it. Now, the one thing I do want to do is I just want to kind of get it up closer to this. I don't need to be right on top of it, but I do want it to be closer to the clamp itself, and that way we can maximize our workspace. And we're going to take the field right up to the edge here and work to get this all filled in. And I want to take it right up to the edge of the gravel so that we can basically cut through right here, and this tree is going to create a marker for our expanded field, as is that drive, and we are going to swing it back up right through here, and we should connect right where we want to. Look at that, perfectly placed where I wanted it. Doesn't happen often. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and get this. I have to lift that up just a little bit so we can get it placed down. And we're going to continue on and fill in this space and figure out exactly what we need to plow. Now I'm going to have to go to the farm store, obviously, and I'm going to have to get more lime, and I may in fact need an additional bag of fertilizer. I do not know yet, but that is definitely a possibility that I need to go and pick up more of that as well. And this field will be planted and it'll start to come in next month so that we can plan on a harvest in April. I do like to make sure that I can get 3 full growth cycles a year out of any grass field, so I do like to have them at least seeded and ready to go by October. That way it ensures we have an adequate amount of growing time, and we would have 3 full growth cycles. Typically you can cut the grass at 2 months, and once you've cut the grass at 2 months, you're able to, obviously, you could do it every 2 months if you like, which would minimize the amount of weeds and probably provide a higher quality grass. But I want quantity because we are just putting it in a clamp, and the quality is not as important in the clamp. So I think you guys have now seen the plow in use now, which was one thing I wanted to make sure we did. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and finish this field off, and then I think we're going to call it a successful episode, and I will go ahead and get this field limed and seeded, and then we will go through and run the fertilizer as well, and it will be ready to go for next year. And I think that makes a very successful episode. So I just want to say thank you guys for watching. To those of you who have liked and commented and subscribed and shared, I appreciate you more than you know, and I hope that you all have a wonderful rest of your day, and we will see you back here tomorrow. Thank you again. You guys be careful out there, and let's see what happens next time.